welcome to the artist behind the music. Today we have our special guest, Bailey Tomkinson, joining us from the UK. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here. I'm super excited to chat with you and kind of hear about your world overseas and what music looks like there for you. But I always like to kind of dive in, getting started just with a little history about who you are and what inspired music to be such a big part of your life today.
Yeah, so I'm 21 and I'm from an area called St Ives, which is in Cornwall in the UK. St Ives is like a beach town.
Nice.
And I've been writing since I was 11, playing guitar since I was 9, and I've just been singing my whole life. Just kind of always knew that I wanted to be a musician. My mum always sang a lot when I was younger, and I always loved films and reading and everything creative. So I kind of naturally fell into this path. But yeah, writing and singing and, playing my instruments and everything. That's just always been like my thing. So yeah, it's kind of how I found it.
That's awesome. It's so funny. I've been talking to a lot of people lately, and 11 is like the magic number of starting with people.
Really?
Lately. Yeah, it's so funny. I'm like, oh, that's so young.
Well, in the UK, it's like we go into secondary school when we're 11, like 10, when we're 10, like 11. So I think it's that like you get a little bit more, like you've got that bit more freedom and you're a bit more mature, and well, you think you're more mature because you're going to big school. So. And I think it's that like that age where you're starting to like people in your class, and that I was, when I was about 11, I started to fancy the boy that was sat next to me in one of my classes. So that's kind of when I started writing, I think, because it was always my way of like getting my feelings out without having to tell someone. It was always like another way of getting something off my chest.
Totally. I love it. Do you remember your first crush?
Yeah, well, it's like I had like lots of little crushes growing up, like, and also in like movie characters and stuff. But I remember like my first crush was like on a boy in like he was in like my form group at school, and I remember because another boy threw a rubber, like an eraser, at me, and this boy that was sat next to me was like, "Hey, leave her alone." And I remember being like, "Oh, he's my hero." So
but it was probably the boy that threw the eraser that also really liked you. Hey,
it's like, yeah, to be fair, that age they do things like that, don't they? It's like they don't want to say anything, so they pick on you.
I know, it's so funny, hey, how just kids show a different way of expressing emotion. But I love that you kind of found an outlet for that through songwriting. Do you remember the first song you ever created?
Yeah, so I wrote a song. It was like really dramatic. It was like I'd made up like an imaginary boyfriend in my song who like died in a car crash. I must have seen a movie or something, and it's like I was 11. I was like, it's a bit like mature, I guess, for an 11-year-old. But it was like the song was like, yeah, it was just about me missing him and being sad about it. And I went and played it to like the school. I moved to Brussels from the UK for a bit, and then I moved back to the UK, and it was at the school in Brussels, and there was like, I think I played it to like 450 people. I just sat there and like sang about like this imaginary guy in a car crash, and everyone was like really confused, but then because it was an original song.
That's scary. That's scary, funny, sad, all the emotions right there.
Yeah, I think I was just like super creative. I was just like, I had like a wild imagination, so I always used to like create different characters in my writing, and yeah, that's kind of,
I think that's so
kind of what happened.
So cool. And that's what a lot of songwriting is, right? It's just the expression of an emotion or a thought or a story, and it doesn't always have to be something that we've experienced, but just something that maybe we've witnessed or seen or talked about or seen someone else go through, right?
Well, it's like, like Bruce Springsteen's really good at it. He like writes a lot from character perspective. Yeah. And I think as you get older as well, you like I will sometimes watch a film and I'll see someone's heartbreak in a film, and I might have not experienced that the way they had, but I'll write a song from their place of hurt. Yeah. So like you kind of channeling how they're feeling to, I guess connect with people who have been through similar things that you might not have been through yourself.
Yeah, and that's so cool, just to tell us, it's a storytelling, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes the real vulnerable, honest truths from your own experiences are wonderful, like healing experiences to share and to connect with people. But sometimes the best songs are something that you've never experienced. And it's just, you have a lot more freedom with telling the story, I find sometimes when it's not your story.
Yeah, I guess it's like sometimes when you're writing a personal story, it can be almost scary to, you know, write your deepest, darkest feelings about things, and it can be quite intimidating. So when you're writing from a place of, you know, you've got no shame writing from another perspective, you know, you could be, you know, anyone. So it's a great way for you to, you know, even just open your mind. So if you're struggling to write from personal perspective, writing from character perspective for a while might help you realize something you've been through, or, you know, exaggerate something you've been through. So it is a really great way of, you know, writing.
Yeah, I love that. Do you have any favorite songwriting tips that you want to share?
Oh, when I've got like writer's block, I don't know like why I do this, but I always watch like a really arty film, like an independent film. So there's a French film called like Amélie, which is like really like beautiful. It's just so colourful. And there's one called The Virgin Suicides.
I've seen that one.
And I just watch things like that that are like really creative and like independent, and because they're so arty, they just really like get your creative juices going.
Yeah.
And they're really, really good for that. Or just like reading poetry, that really helps. Or like listening to, you know, Tapestry by Carole King, the album, because that album's just amazing. And it's like whenever I listen to that, I'm instantly inspired, because it's just like absolutely phenomenal, that piece of work. So anything like that, anything that's like creative, I have to kind of be in that kind of environment to start getting myself inspired.
I love that. Those are all really great tips. I always find I can't watch anything musical at nighttime before I go to sleep, or read inspiring books, because what happened, my brain just gets so lit up and creative, and I just want to go create and work and do all
Yeah.
the things. But yeah, I cannot watch concerts or any like documentaries or anything before I go to bed, because it just lights me right up, and then there's no sleep.
That's so true. To be fair, that is so true, because like when I was 17, my granddad like came to stay with us for like a few months, and me and my granddad every night would watch like a documentary on an artist. Like, so we watched like the Bee Gees one night, like the Eagles one night, and I was just like, I had to go and play, or I'd be like, oh, is there any open mics going in town, or, you know, I just really wanted to go and perform or write. And I completely understand that.
Yeah, no, it's great. I love being inspired by so many different outlets. Just awesome. When you get fear, what do you do? What kind of tools do you use to push through that wall of resistance, that fear that shows up for you in life or in music, and just any experiences maybe that you may have had?
Oh, I think it's like when you're scared of something, or you are going through something challenging, I guess, to be around people that calm you down.
Hmm.
My sister's always been really good at, like, when I've been scared or I'm stressed out or something, you know, like when you're in that zone where you just like panic, and it's really hard to shift yourself out of it. My sister's like 1 year younger than me, and she's always been really good at like calming me down. And we're very similar, and we grew up together, so I think just being around people that like calm you. But again, it's like if you're scared of something, you know, there's lots of things in music you can be scared of. Like, you know, I know lots of people get stage fright, or, you know, doing interviews, and I think it's just kind of practice. You know, just do something. The more you do it, the more you get used to it. You know, I remember my first gig, and how, like, I think the first time I played like my own song on stage, like I'd always done like musical stuff growing up, but when I was like 12, I performed like my original song on stage to like loads of people, and I just remember feeling sick, because you just don't know how you're going to be perceived. But then once you do it a few times, and you realize, you know, like people actually enjoy listening, and people like it, and people come up to me and say, oh, that was really good, and it would just boost my confidence, and the more I did it, the less nervous I got.
Totally. Yeah, that's so true. It's just the more we practice. Like that's life, right? Life is just one big practice, and the more we can practice, the easier it feels.
Yeah.
So, oh, that's great. We're just in one big dress rehearsal. That's a song right there. I think it is in a song actually already.
It should be in a song if it isn't.
Totally. Coming soon. Coming soon.
Yeah.
What is your favorite musical experience that you've had thus far in life?
Oh, I don't know. I've had some really cool experiences, like with gigs and like festivals and stuff, and recording. I love recording music. And there's like when you're recording, so I've been recording an EP recently, and when like it starts coming to life, you know, through the speakers, and you're like, oh my God, that's exactly how I envisioned it. That's a really cool feeling. I don't know. I've had some really cool experiences, like Christmas, I sold out a venue down here called the Acorn, and that was a really great experience. And just like my first like headline London show, that was a really great experience because the room was full, and you know, you definitely feed off like the energy of the crowd and the audience, and if they're enjoying it, you know, you enjoy it like times a million. Like it's you just completely feed off the audience. And so I've had some really awesome experiences. I'm really excited to like what's going to come in the future and stuff as well. Yeah.
Cool. I love it. All good things. It's good to celebrate those moments. What's your favorite part about being in the music industry? Is it the performing, the writing, the marketing, the all the different hats that you wear?
Well, I just love everything to do with it. You know, I love the performing, I love the writing and the singing, and you know, I wouldn't be singing if I wasn't writing. For me, like those two are like together. There's been lots of amazing things that, you know, the music industry offers, and just, you know, just being an independent artist as well. You know, I get to be so creative, and there's so many different hats. I don't even know where to go with this because it's just it's great. It's like, you know, I just love everything about it, and it's all I ever wanted to do since I was small. So, you know, no matter what kind of quantity, how, you know, how big or small my music got, you know, I would be happy doing it because it was the thing I love most.
Yeah. I think that's a really important thing to focus on. Just that gratitude of if you love what you're doing, it doesn't matter what scale it's at, right?
Yeah.
I'll have success is defined in different ways for everybody. But I think at the end of the day, success for me, I know for sure, is just you wake up and get to do what you love.
Yeah.
And live. Like that's success right there.
100%.
I love that. I love that. So let's talk a little bit about what you have going on now in life and in music and what we have to look forward to.
Cool. So this week on the 1st of June, I have a song coming out called Bright Red, which is about the G7 summit coming to Carvis Bay, St Ives, which is where I'm from. And the hotel that they're staying at, they've basically knocked down like a load of the headland that Carvis Bay is, to build some pods. The hotel did, and it really upset me just because it's so beautiful there and it's just been destroyed. So I've got a song coming out about that this week, and I've been working on an EP recently, which I'm really excited about. Worked really hard, and my band have worked really hard as well, and festivals and gigs this year. So I've got a lot going on, which is fantastic, you know, definitely in comparison to last year with the pandemic when you couldn't gig or anything. So it's been amazing this year so far. I can't wait for the rest of the year.
Yeah, it's exciting to be able to start getting back into the swing of things like performing and being out on the road with music. And we're still in quite a lockdown here, but there is hope for the future.
Whereabouts are you based?
Oh yeah, I'm in Calgary, Canada. So
oh, lovely.
yes, and we're slowly moving forward with everything here, but no shows currently, but we'll see what the rest of the summer brings. We'll see what the rest.
Well, my mum's been to Calgary when she was younger, and she talked about it all the time. She was in a choir that had like a tour or something around Canada.
Cool.
And she said it was amazing.
It is a beautiful place. We are so lucky we have the mountains just outside of our window, and just snows in July sometimes, but you know.
That's amazing.
Make the best.
We barely get any snow here because it's
right?
like in Cornwall, it's coastal. It gets really cold because it's UK weather, but
yeah.
yeah, but typically in summer we're pretty fortunate. Today it's really sunny. It's bank holiday here today, well, this week, so I live in a tourist town, so it is absolutely crazy this week.
Well, it's probably nice to see some life resurfacing, which is awesome.
Yeah, it is nice. It is nice to see like things go back to normal.
Yes, step by step, day by day. Well, on that note, I would love to hear you play a song for us. I'm excited to hear your new music and what you have coming out. So take it
awesome.
Ready.
I'll play a song called Deja Vu, which is unreleased. Yeah, play this one, and hope you like it. It sounds very different when like with the recorded version, but this is just an acoustic version of it. Saving grace, I found past in my soul. Paris nights and afternoons, immortal. Body tight t-shirt, thickens on the summer, loading the coffee again. Drive off on your best thing with your Romeo. I'm like a glass outside, myself on the door. And I'm for golden days, remember what it's like to feel good. I keep singing through. Can't you leave this deja vu, brand new? For the coffee gets cold. Setting down, sweeping out a cigarette. Making laughs with people I have never met. Hanging off his shoulder, tripping on the river, the ones that I will regret. I'm like a glass outside, myself on control. Sailing through the night, and I love the golden days. Remember what it's like to feel good. I keep singing blue. Into this deja vu, brand new. For the coffee gets cold.
Oh, what a beautiful song. I love that. So good.
Thank you.
Your voice is just like a velvet blanket. Like it just is so soothing to listen to and takes you like on a really nice journey. Beautiful.
Oh, thank you. That song is it's a character perspective song again. It's about, I kind of like envisioned this like little scenario between two characters where this woman and this guy are kind of seeing each other, and she kind of likes him, but she doesn't really know she wants a relationship with this character, and she's kind of liking him, and this whole like she's got a very romanticized idea of him, and I thought that's quite relatable to a lot of people, so yeah, that's what it's about.
Oh, it's beautiful. Well, that's awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, I always love to wrap these shows up with the question, if you had one message to share with the world, what would it be?
One message to share with the world. Well, that's a hard question.
It doesn't have to be permanent. You can always change it.
I guess just like, be true to yourself, but also, I think it's important to, make sure you do something for someone every day. Like, I think that even if it's just like, if you see like someone struggling to carry their bags kind of thing, like probably not in COVID, but when things go back to normal, do you know what I mean? Like little things like that, nice like gestures of kindness. And I think that's what like keeps the world going. Do you know what I mean? People looking out for each other, and just humanity and community, and that's something I always try to live by. Just, I think just being nice to everyone.
I love that. That's well said and very beautiful. Kindness spreads like nothing else. So be kind there. That's beautiful. Well, Bailey, thank you so much for joining me on The Artist Behind the Music. It's been so wonderful to chat with you, hear a little bit more about your story, and hear you play some tunes. So have a wonderful day, and I look forward to chatting with you again soon.
Oh, thank you so much for having me. It was so lovely to meet you as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we'll make sure we spread the word about your brand new song, Bright Red.
Yes. Amazing.